Hi, Lynn. Hi, Kai. Hi, John. Hi, Christian.
Hi.
Hey, Sage. Hey, Fred. Hey, Lori. Hey, Richard.
Hi.
Hi, Christian.
Hi.
Hey, Cynthia. You made it. Oh, there's Ronnie, too. And Lori. Full house today. Hey, Ronnie.
Hi.
Hey, Lori. Okay, Lindsay. Hi, welcome. Hi, Fred. Welcome. We almost have the majority of people here. Welcome, everybody. All right. So you all know my name. I see your name, which is great. The sound is pretty good so far. If anybody has a busy room, people coming and going, dishes, anything like that, please mute yourself. If we get a whole lot of noise, I'm going to have to mute everybody, and I don't want to do that if we can avoid it. Hey, Andrew, welcome. Wow, you mobile?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. Hope you're not driving.
No, not yet.
All right. Hey, Elizabeth. So yeah, getting a little bit of noise just because of the sheer numbers of people on here, but so far so good. Geez, thanks for coming, everybody. I have really been having a hard time with so many people who so sincerely want the truth and want change in their life, and I just couldn't get around to everybody with the private program. So I've been already for the last few weeks running a group program, and I started to use some of the private techniques with the group. I used to think that those techniques just wouldn't work or wouldn't be as effective in a group as they are privately. And I've been proven wrong. So the work that we're doing has been good and valuable. Some of those people are on this call. And so what we're going to do is brainstorm a new program of some sort that is kind of a hybrid between a group program and a private program. But what I've found also in the group program, it's only 8 weeks. It's very short. It's a good start, but there needs to be something ongoing generally. And what I find with the private program, even after 3 months, which is how long it is, there needs to be something ongoing. And it depends on how much you've realized and recognized in either program and whether or not that understanding has been misunderstood as to what position you'll be in at the end of these programs. And so I'm thinking about a very long-term program so that no matter what happens, you can check in. And no matter what happens in life, ongoing with certain challenges, you can check in. Hey, Melissa, welcome. Hi, Emily. There's some more new people joining. Susie, welcome. Hi. So with the sheer numbers of people, we are getting a lot of background noise, so I may just mute everybody in a minute here. We'll see. So I want to know, I got a really good email from someone the other day who was sort of still clinging to that private. I want a private program. And I was like, why? What is it for you that you think a private program is going to do that you think you can't get in a group program? And this is a big question I've been asking myself that I would like to ask any of you. Anybody has an idea, feel free to jump in. You can put your hand up with this system somehow or other. I'm still sort of new to it. If you mouse around on the bottom, there's a way to put your hand up. And there's also a chat box you can click on and type something in the chat room. I'm going to do it right now. Just put hi in the chat box so that everybody sees that. All right. So if you don't want to speak, but you do have a question or a comment, you can always put it in the chat box. So yeah, maybe with a show of hands, who here is absolutely attached to the idea of a private program? Hands up. There's one, okay. I'm flashing through here. Some people aren't sure, I think. Okay. So does anybody have a comment on why they think the private program is absolutely necessary? I'm open to hearing it. Go for it, Christian.
Yeah. For me, it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm following some teachers now for a while, and it's really in a big group. And it was always my dream to have really, some private thing going on, so that you can be more precise and because we
Okay, we are getting a lot of noise. Hang on a second. I am going to have to mute everybody, and then I will let you unmute. You should be able to unmute, Christian.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Now you're not. Now you have to unmute, Christian.
Now it's better.
Very good, thank you.
Yes. Okay.
What was that word you said? More precise.
More precise is, I mean, since being on this path for a while, I know that there are so many escaping distractions, especially in my case, it's a strong repetitive habit, and to only dip a little bit and then go away, and and somehow it happens that I'm now here and speaking even. It has not been planned in a way. I just got the email, and yes, so this I would say from my perspective is a good thing to have really someone who follows you and kicks your ass through this process, because there are a lot of pitfalls, and I mean we all know that the mind is very tricky, and not to give him too much space now in this conversation, but yes, I think you get what I mean.
I do, and it's a
but
similar.
I'm not against
Go ahead.
a group program. I'm also not against a group program. I quite knew. I saw you just on Buddha as a gas pump when I came back from my India trip, and then somehow, I felt some resonance. That's why I'm here now. So.
Okay, all right, good to know. Good to know that there's no opposition to a group program. There's just the idea that you can get more somehow from a private program. And that is sort of the sentiment that was shared with the last person who made the comment, who said, I really wanted that private program, and gave their reasons. And at first blush, that looked really true and really important. But like everything else that the mind has to say, none of it is important. And if you get that, if you leave today with that from here, and you use just that and only that and always that, that could be enough. Okay. And what you just shared and my reply to it, everybody here just benefited from, if they had ears to see. And I say ears to see because your senses are not singular. I don't know if you've ever noticed that or ever seen any of the optical illusions that are out there. The reason they work is because your hearing is not separate from your seeing, is not separate from anything, actually. But I don't want to get off track too far. So I'd like to test it. I'd like to test and prove or disprove that private is really the only way to go for deep, lasting work. I like to question it. Because I always like to question mind. And I have been experimenting a little bit with this last group, like I say, and the results have been pretty good. I think my concern is length of time. I think the biggest thing is length of time. You get some good stuff, like say you go on a retreat somewhere and you get this, spacious, open feeling, and you say, I am one with everything, right? And then you get on the airplane and you go home, and the next day you can't stand your neighbor. Right? You say, what happened to my peace? Where did it go? I mean, I even got an email from someone who had I'll say a direct recognition of something, and it lasted about a year. They had love, joy, peace, and the spaciousness for a year. And then it gradually faded away. You know, a year. So is it the length of time you're doing something? I'm going to say no. She said, is there something I missed? I'll say yes. Absolutely. There's something that was missed. And that something that is missed can be easily pointed out. But will it be absorbed? Will it strike the heart? Will it hit home? Okay. And so some deep work needs to be done. And I'm questioning, does it have to be done privately or not? Because I would love to be able to do this with more people. So
I would say basically the willingness has to be there, and then it doesn't matter if private or no private. There has to be a deep willingness, because you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. And this is true on many life circumstances, and especially in spiritual life.
that's right. I absolutely agree, because I didn't have any program. Okay. I couldn't afford anything. I got what was out there, which is free, you know, everything that everybody has available. You have even more free now than I did, plus all the stuff I'm putting out there. So if you're earnest enough, and I've got some questions, some polls for you, then it really doesn't matter. Although, you know, mine may say you need more time. This and that hasn't happened. But in the program, we learn that that isn't a real blockage. That is nothing real. It's just more of the same imagination that causes grief elsewhere in your life. So I would like to talk about the possibilities of, hey, Emily, you made it, of doing something in a group, but that is intensive and has, you know, as much impact as a private program would.
Can you hear me?
I can hear somebody who said that. Emily, hi.
It's me. Hi. I'm not sure how this works because I've never been on this sort of application.
That's okay. There's a bunch of us here who haven't either, and I'm still fairly new to it. I muted most people because we had a lot of noise, because we have a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And a few people have joined since, so they are not muted. I may just mute them just for sound also.
Okay.
But, so yeah, we're just sort of trying to have an open conversation about, what do you think you need? What works best for you? And if everybody is up for it, I'd like to do some polling out there just to get an idea. This is anonymous polling, okay? You're going to get a little window on your screen and you get to select some things. And so we get an idea of where we're all starting at. And one of the question is, this kind of work, I don't know how many of you have all seen very much of what I do, but I talk about very grounded things. I talk about the 5 powers you were born with and don't know you have, and what goes on with them and what goes wrong with them that results in unconsciousness, and why you don't have sort of apparent control. There isn't any control, but you feel out of control with your thoughts, feelings, and you don't know the difference between the story, what I call the movie in the mind, and actually what is, and get interested in and are attracted to the movie in the mind. So it's very real, concrete work that also incorporates some self-inquiry, getting to the truth of who we are and who we're not. And so with this work, if you've seen a few videos, you might have an idea of all that. And I hope if you haven't, I've given you enough to sort of understand. So it's a lot of inner work, and it's in a group work. It is one-on-one interaction with me. I don't get up there and just do soliloquies. I try not to anyway. I can talk and talk and talk, as some people on this call know, and that can be useful. But I prefer dialectic sort of interaction, because I think that's where the value is. So given that information and what you already know about me, the first poll question would be, how often would you want to do this work? Once a month, once a week, or daily? And I'm now showing you that poll. And if everybody could just cast their anonymous vote, we'll get a good idea. Okay, we're almost there. 70% of people have voted.
Cindy, there's no poll on my end. I don't see the
Elizabeth,
poll.
you have no poll.
Yeah.
I'll have to take your vote anonymously. I mean, can you private chat me and send it if you like, or
Sure.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
16. Anybody else doesn't have a poll? You can unmute yourself and let me know. Otherwise, we should get 19 out of 20. We got 2 more to go. And maybe some people are choosing not to participate, and that would be fine too. Okay, looks like 17 out of 20, and I'm going to show you what the poll is. Remember, this is anonymous. Don't be afraid. Nobody's going to know your name. I don't know your name.
Maybe some people are voting in the chat.
Fred, to everyone group. Did you vote in the box, Fred? Elizabeth voted there. No, you can't do or Elizabeth. You have to pick one.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty unanimous anyway. Ba-ba-ba-bum. We have primarily once a week. Then daily. And nobody said once a month. Good for you guys. All right. Now, comes the big question next. Private versus public. Which do you want, given after everything I've already said? Only private work, only group work, or group and private work? Again, it's anonymous. Okay. Oh, interesting. And we have 16, 1 more to go because we got 17 last time. And maybe somebody's not sure. Oh, 17, there we go. Well, there you go. And drum roll. Group and private work both. Still somebody wants only group work. That's interesting. I never had thought about that. Who doesn't want private? That's not a problem here. Okay. How long do you want to do this work for? And I have a couple of options here: sporadically, for 2 weeks, for 1 month, for 3 months, for 6 months, for 1 year, or for as long as it takes. Wow. We are at 12, looking for 4 more. Two more. One more. Who's holding out? So I'm going to close the poll here. Someone has to make a decision. I'll give you another 4 seconds. Okay, here you go. And the results are, wow, 63% as long as it takes. But a quarter are looking at about 3 months. Maybe that's because maybe you don't really have a good idea, I don't know, of what the work is about. Or you think that's all it takes. Could be. And then more for 6 months. So dedicated group here. Wow. Okay, I'll stop that for now. Anybody have any questions on any of this so far? Comments? Okay. And if you don't mind, I'll ask you a few more poll questions. And in terms of participating, how you like to participate, how much you like to participate. Do you prefer to just listen or watch in the background, or do you like to ask Cindy questions? That's me.
Cindy, I think you have a question in chat as well.
Yeah, thank you. Melissa is asking, how do we ask questions? You mean right now, Melissa? Would you like to ask a question verbally? Okay, we have an interesting mix here happening. Melissa, if you'd like to speak with me directly right now, if that's what you're referring to, just unmute yourself and you can talk to me. So you have to mouse over, and in the bottom left corner, there'll be a mic icon, and you can unmute. Okay, we almost have this poll completed. 16. So somebody says, I want your information without listening to a lot of questions. I think that means listening to people asking questions and me answering. Okay, let me know, Cynthia. How do you ask the questions now? So Melissa, to ask me a question now, you have to unmute yourself. So mouse over the screen, go to the bottom left where there's a little microphone icon, and click that to unmute yourself, and then you can verbally ask a question. If you don't want to verbally ask a question, just type it there in the box. I'll see it there. Okay, so yeah, we got everybody in this time, and it's not, it's pretty close here. So a lot of people want to ask questions, but some people want to watch and listen in the background. That's good too. So Melissa, do you want to ask me a question now? So here's a question for you all. Here's an idea that I've come up with. It is kind of like a cross between group work and private work. I'm thinking about it, playing with this idea. So if private sessions were made available at no extra charge, provided that I can share them freely with the public online, would you participate if you were offered a private session? Say yes, no, or maybe. It depends on what we're talking about. I hope I don't get a lot of those maybes because I don't know what to do with them.
Well, Cindy, it might be helpful for people to have the context of why you're wanting to, what the purpose of sharing them online with others would be.
Yeah, well, of course, so that others can learn from it. You know, I've taken, I don't know how many questions, and pretty much all of them are the same questions. Everybody has the same questions. However, as some people will say on this call, it's quite good to hear your question asked from another angle or another direction, and you might get something out of that that you weren't expecting. It's quite surprising sometimes. So Fred says it might be helpful to ask us some of these questions after we've had 1 or 2 sessions. Yeah, I might ask them again, sure. But I need to know now because we're going to be creating this program. So I want to know what works, you know, the best for you. I'm already been surprised by one answer. I thought I knew, haha, the mind always thinks it knows. So very good to be enlightened by you all. And I'm getting a message from Melissa that this Zoom is very confusing. I do not know what kind of training you are speaking about, if I finished your sentence maybe. Okay, so feel free to ask any questions about Zoom. Zoom is a different issue from the program that I offer, and you can feel free to ask any questions about programs too. And wow, look, we got 50% yes, and 33% maybe. The reason I put maybe in there is because maybe you go in with the intention of sharing it, but then something comes out that you just, you know, you need to be free to say and share, but you don't want out there for whatever reason. And it could be it involves somebody else. It could be just something you don't want out there. And so, but if you go in honestly with the intention of sharing, if there's something useful, then that's what I'm looking for. This should be a rare occurrence where you say, oh my God, don't put that out there. Or what we can do is cut part of that out. If there's still value in the rest of the recording, we can just cut out that part. So that's possible too. So that's very interesting. That could be part of a program and a way for you to get private without it taking up all of my time. See, the problem is when I do private, I work with one person and nobody else benefits. And my business doesn't benefit, and I'm not writing a book where millions others could benefit. And so I'm looking at, well, why would I do private? It's great. I love doing private and helping people, and it's powerful. But it's worth so much more to humanity than just what happens between two people. So the next question is, how would you like this work delivered? You can pick more than one. And the options are, you want to study or watch home videos, you want to have live interaction with me, you want reading, online print, homework, daily access to a social media group, like a Facebook group, email access to me, or audio recordings online that you can also download. So I'm going to give you all of those options. Tell me what you like the most. Elizabeth says all the above would serve. We get to find out what's the most popular here, which is great. And nothing is being left behind so far, so. Wow, we got 18 people voting this time. Don't know how that happened. Somebody new snuck in. Okay, wow. Well, here you go. Just going to show you. Live interaction is the winner. And I get it. And I love it too. Look at that. We have audio edging ahead of video. I wonder why that is. I'd like to ask anybody who likes audio, maybe to share why. Why is that good or useful or important? And email access is up there too. Yeah, anybody like to comment on audio?
Yeah, Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Hi. I like audio just because, I mean, going back and forth to work every day is takes up a fair bit of my day. So it's manageable with audio, whereas video, I need
I
to be
get
at
it.
home, quiet and watching. So I mean, both are great. Audio is more convenient.
All right, good to know. Thank you. And you download it in MP3 format?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Andrew.
You're welcome.
Okay. Great to know. Okay, I'm just gonna, I got 2 more polls, but I'm not gonna do them yet. I'm so grateful for you all coming on here and giving me all this information. I'm gonna actually answer a question somebody emailed me. Maybe it'll be of value to you. And then if we're gonna open up, maybe if anybody has a burning question, I can answer that as well. You can just type it in the side, and then we'll pick one and we'll address that. So going back to my email, I got a couple questions out of the blue here. So one is it possible for other people to energetically knock people down? Or can you talk a bit about giving one's power away to other people or situations? Okay. Some people here may think that other people's energies can knock you down. And if you don't believe that, you might believe that, that you give your power away to someone else. And the short answer to that is no, both are false. Okay. When you feel that somebody is, sucking your energy like a vampire, what's actually going on? If you're paying attention, if you pay close attention, what's going on? You walk into a room and there's someone there behaving in some way you don't like. Isn't that true? Yeah. They're behaving in some way you don't like. And it could be the tone of voice. It could be the volume of their voice. It could be their choice of words. It's the you don't like part that causes your energy to drop or go up in anger. And okay, it's not their actual words. It's nothing they're actually doing. They're not putting out some kind of to suck your energy away. Okay, but this idea, if you hold it, will suck your energy. Okay, so it's your power of authority. I talk about the 5 powers everybody was born with. And it's your power of interest, attention, authority, and lack of discernment. You're not using your power of discernment to know what's going on that gets you into this situation where you feel bad, where you feel you have to act on what they're acting on. And so it's absorption and the movie in the mind, what I call the movie in the mind. And the movie in the mind is stories, images, videos, sounds, feelings triggered by them in your mind that are not actually happening now, right? So you could be sitting on the couch and that's what's happening, sitting on the couch. But in your head, you're playing a movie about an argument you had with your spouse or your friend. And you're getting all riled up. But the argument is not happening, you see. Sitting on the couch is happening. And if you don't notice this, if you don't discern this, you'll think it's real and important. If you think it's real and important, you're going to give it your powers of attention and interest. And you're not going to discern the difference. And you're going to hold your body hostage in stress and anxiety. So that was a great question that brought up lots of information. And so the second part of that question is, giving your power to somebody. Again, if you're in the room and there's somebody who's behaving in a way you don't like, what's actually going on? Actually, not imagination about what's going on, not a story in the mind about what's going on about them and what they're doing and shouldn't be doing, and they always do that. You're standing in a room. That's what's going on. You're hearing probably maybe more than one voice. I don't know, depending on the situation. You're feeling your feet, or are you? Are you feeling your feet now, everybody, just because I mentioned it? Yeah, just because I mentioned it. What happened before? Your feet stop feeling and sensing? No. It's your power of attention that was contracted onto just my words or your thoughts about my words, and so you appear to eliminate your feet. This is how powerful your power of attention is. Okay, you can appear to eliminate a body part. How much more can you eliminate the actual words that somebody says? Or the pained response on their face, or a car you just cut off in a blind rage. So we have a lot of concepts that don't serve us. Giving our power away, these kinds of things are concepts. Do you have any proof of it? Actual real life proof? Or is it just a thought? And somebody is quietly typing, which sounds very loud, so I just muted everybody again. It's okay to type, but if you are unmuted and you want to type, please mute yourself. So, no. If you could give your power to others, I mean, the whole thing just doesn't even make sense. What do you do? Walk up to them and go, "Here, have my power." Right? Mm-mm. You're the boss. That's your power of authority. What you say, believe, goes in your experience. Because what you believe, what you stamp with your power of authority will appear to look real. And that is the veil that hides the truth from you. The truth that is never actually hidden. It's always present. You're not 24/7. You're not for one moment ever not seeing the one reality. But your power of authority, you don't even know you're doing it, veils the truth. And so that's the work we do, is to unveil that, to come to understand your power of authority so that you can have a direct recognition of whom, what you really are. So, any questions on that? I hope I answered the question. I'm seeing a nod, so yeah, good. It's good
Cindy,
news.
there's one question on that in the chat.
Okay, scroll down. Okay. Yeah. What should we put our attention on? Practical question. How many participants would make a manageable? Okay, these are, I'm going to come back to that one, Richard. What should we put our attention on? Aha. So when you put your attention on something, it's a great question. When you put your attention on something, you've narrowed it. And this is what happens with next shiny object syndrome. It's like, and attention wanders, next shiny object, if you're not consciously aware of your power of attention. It will go wherever the next thing happens. And mind will spew out the next thing. That's the brain's job, to give you thoughts, something like 40,000 a day. I don't know how they measure that. But you get 40,000 thoughts a day, but you're not interested in them all. You don't give attention to them all. But certain ones for you are different from certain ones for another, and you grab them. When I say by grab them, you don't actually grab them. What you do is you put your attention on them. You contract your attention on it so that you don't see or hear anything else. This is how you can get in a blind rage. Your interest is in them and nothing else, so you can't access anything else, even though it might be right under your nose, like the truth. And so in this work, I show people how to open their attention, not contract it on anything, so that you have access to everything, including wisdom that is ecological for everything that's going on. Okay. We're getting someone else, a new joiner. Whoever joined new, thanks for coming. You will have to see the beginning of the video later on. There will be a replay I made available. I think you'd like it. So another question, practical question, good. How many participants would make a manageable group? Yeah, that's $1 million question. How often would private session take place? Yeah, good question again. Yeah, you know, I think for what I'll call a beginner group, that there wouldn't need to be a lot of one-on-one, because a lot of the material that I'm sharing, you can get. Somebody said they just want to hear me talk. You can get all that in a recording. You don't have to be live with me. And you need to get a lot of that before really the one-on-one work, because you'd just be asking me the simple, basic questions, and that would not be the best use of our time together. And so perhaps a beginner's, an introductory group where most of the material is not in live format. And then perhaps an advanced group who's gone through that part could be offered the private opportunity. Now, depending on how big that group got. So the first group could be scalable, it could be practically unlimited, because it doesn't require me to be there live with every single person. The sort of advanced group would have to be smaller. And how often you could get a private one-on-one with me, I don't know yet. Because it would be sort of done by lottery at first, because they're not going to be charged for. It depends on the size of the group as to how often I would get around to you. So good question. I don't know the answer totally. I think this is going to be created by fumbling into it. And trying to be, trying to create something that is of benefit to most people as far as they can go with that format. And then after that, maybe things will change again. But as it is, I can only take 12 people a year private. That means this group is so big, you could be waiting years. I'm not the only pointer out there. You can find other pointers. They probably also have a waiting list. But because I first got out on Back App just recently, I'm probably the least in demand right now. Even it's just the bottleneck of the body mind that one-on-one is very time consuming. So Melissa asked, what might be the theme of this group training? Theme, that's sort of touching on name, which we've been playing with too, Kai? Yeah, I'm open to ideas on that. What was the last one we had? Living Freedom, I think. Yeah. So we had a small group, which some people are on right now who are here, called Edging Out the Ego. And it's a very small group. And, well, very small. What are we, 14 people? And it's 8 weeks long. And yeah, it's called Edging Out the Ego. The private work that I was doing was exposing the ego. So to me, the difference is what? When you can do intensive one-on-one work. Melissa, you're talking, but I can't hear you because you're muted. So if you want to speak, feel free to unmute yourself. Now, some of the exposing the ego techniques are done in the group, so I found, and they're working okay. There's some that I just won't do, I just can't do. But I have an idea for those too, that maybe we can do breakouts in a group. So I can give you the practice, and then you go in pairs of 2 and work with each other and come back and report. And that might be another way to sort of get one-on-one, but also in a group. So some more ideas there. Does that answer the question, Melissa, about the theme? So a lot of people come to this work because they have worldly problems, relationships, career, money, whatever, and they've identified that truly the real problem is not out there, it's in here. And they want to solve their worldly problem out there by solving the problem in here, which does make sense to me, much more than chasing and trying to change and fix the outer world. And you can come to this work for that purpose. But you can also come to this work to cut to the root of the cause of all of it. Because what I find is if you deal with one thing, a little while later another thing comes up, and you've got another thing, and you've got another thing. So cutting to the root, it's all done, it's over. And the root is this question of your identity, of who and what you actually and really are. Can you do that on your own? Yeah, I did it. But I wasn't completely alone in terms of, I was a Zen student. I studied Zen. I still, to this day, practice sitting. I heard the messages of the masters. It sunk in, okay? So you do need to hear it. First of all, you need to hear that there's something possible, there's something different, that you're not who you think you are, that there's something far greater. You have to have heard that. And nobody on this call would be here if they haven't already heard that. So that's doing its work. Perhaps you need to hear more. As far as I'm concerned, the biggest thing we need to hear is about our power of authority, and to start taking responsibility for it. So that's my goal. And I love to help people get through their worldly issues and use those worldly issues to point to your innate freedom, your true reality. Any other questions on the program or this work? Okay. If you do, feel free to unmute yourself.
Cindy, there's one from Richard.
It's the other way. It's a mirror. Here we go. Would you distinguish beginner and advanced groups from the beginning? That's a good one. Yeah. Well, there's a few people who asked that. Richard Cameron, you are not in a group. I thought you, or maybe you are. No, you're not. We have a different Richard. So, yeah, I think the people who haven't gone through any of this have to go through the meat of it, let's say. You have to, there's stuff there, lots of stuff, that you don't need me one-on-one to explain or show you. It's recorded and you can just watch it. And once you've gone through all that, and we can still make ways for you while you're going through all that to communicate with me, like in a Facebook group, a social group and whatnot. So you're not just like totally on your own. I would never do that. And so you'd have to go through that. And then anybody who's still left hanging around, these are the really sincere people, I think, that know they're not done, that want to be done. They can go into, there isn't an advanced group right now, okay? So what we'd create probably next week is something that is for beginners, so-called beginners, introductory. And everybody who goes through that then would be offered the opportunity to go into a more advanced next tier kind of level. And so, yeah, it would have to be, we need these basics in place. They're really fundamental. Does that answer the question? I hope so. If not, go ahead and ask again. Anybody else? Question?
Yeah, Cindy, can I speak?
Yeah, please do.
So I'm just wondering if there must be a way, if you're starting at a beginner's level, going through the material, and I'm guessing different people are going to get different understandings and insights in different timescales. How would you be able to pull people that somehow discern through your own vetting system? And that I guess that would only be through a one-on-one to vet where they are in their own experience.
Yeah, I'm believing so. Yeah. The thing is, so when we started this group that we've got right now, I also started with 2 private clients. Okay. Right. Because I had none at the time, and I thought, great, I can take 2. And one of them is on the call today, right now, and she can vouch for herself. But what I'm hearing is that I've been giving them access to some of the group material, and they're looking at it going, wow, because we came in at a different point and moved ahead. And I had to do some basic fundamental stuff with them that they didn't know. I had to talk about the 5 powers, right? I have to talk about all of them because they didn't have that. So we started with that. But looking at the group stuff, they were like, wow, I want to join a group, because you get the same thing said in a different angle or a different way, and it maybe strikes a little deeper, especially if you get it the 2nd and 3rd or 4th time, whatever. And so it would be better if everybody had at least gone through the fundamentals, so that we don't have to backtrack, take that precious one-on-one time and backtrack about things that were missed, that needed to be in place. The purpose of your question is you want to dive right into one-on-ones, I'm guessing?
I suppose that would, at least then we would be able to understand where we are. I mean, I'm guessing because I heard you on Back Gap. I experienced a collapse of what you'd call the ego or whatever about 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And things have been going since then. And listening to you and the way you put it was like, bingo. You know, I just thought, okay, that's given some kind of, which you're saying, authority
Mm-hmm.
to actually really finish with it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, brilliant. There's the authority, which I'd kind of discarded, even the authority, because none of it could ever touch me anyway.
Yeah.
However, there was some kind of, well, it doesn't matter if it's there or not. But now I'm like, actually, do you know what? It kind of does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I heard you, and I thought, yeah, I'd really like to speak to this lady. And also the group. I think the group thing's brilliant because you get to hear where everybody else is, and it's just, I mean, I just thrive off that too. So that's a really nice interaction, and getting to see how we're doing, you know, how people are doing.
Yeah.
So I love that too.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just felt that it was perhaps important to get that that first step to see where we are. I'm assuming some people might have haphazardly come across it and be, you know, just really going through the baby steps.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah, go on.
So what do you think about this kind of a conversation right now? You and I are having a one-on-one conversation, but it's in a group.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. When I put the thing on, the video, I thought this already feels like a one-on-one anyway. With benefit, because there are other, you know, at any moment other people can give feedback too, so that's great.
Yeah.
The difference between this and what you're suggesting, which is going through the basic material, so that would be, I guess, you listen to videos, practicing it.
Yes.
For, I don't know, a month period or something like that before we start video interaction. That's fine. Yeah, I could do that. I'm doing it anyway, and I think the results are quite immediate. It's quite obvious.
Okay.
So
okay.
right.
Well, that was great. That's brilliant. Thank you for that feedback. What I'm talking about with the group is not necessarily that there wouldn't be this kind of thing where there's a group and there's like one-on-one. It's not that we wouldn't have that.
Right.
I think. Kai, I've forgotten now. But that would be, so the difference between the private intensive is it's only ever you and me, and it's like twice a week for 3 months, and it is deep diving. Okay, it is, you've got to be committed. You've got to be full on with this. And maybe people on this call aren't full on with that. I don't know. Maybe I should poll about that. Like, so that's the difference between that program and something here that we're considering. And so maybe you can get the best of both worlds in one. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm trying to find here.
Yeah.
You think that'd be good? A group with this kind of interaction?
Well, I think so, because I feel that other people could also be support for each other.
Yes.
That element is there.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, when you speak of how committed, and this is all I know. So I don't know the half commit. I don't. I might have known that 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, let's say. But it's all I've known for a while. So. You know, it's nice to remember that, I guess.
I understand. When it becomes natural and automatic, then yeah, you don't need commitment. It's what you're all about, right? It's just.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, you know, in your case in particular, the 5 powers are important. So I had a client who suffered severely, ended up in the psych ward a number of times, and in one of those stays had a spontaneous opening. And for 6 weeks lived in effortless peace, love, joy, and just, you know, left the psych ward. But then it came back, okay, gradually came back.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated by this. And I ask what went on, and I can see what went on. If you're practicing your powers, you will see what's been going on. okay? And you'll see that you haven't lost anything. That goes for everybody who's ever had some kind of a direct recognition. What happens is we have a phenomena, we have the feeling, it feels great, it's such a contrast to where we were, that all that suffering, and suddenly you're released, and you don't understand what happened, how, why, right? And you think the release is it, and you start to seek the release. Now the release, the feeling, the euphoria or whatever, the bliss, the love, it's temporary. All such experience, all phenomena is temporary. It's not a cause, is what I'm saying. So you're seeking, you're trying to put the cart before the horse. And what happened was in those direct recognitions, or in those insights, I call them, you missed what matters. Okay? You missed what matters. You grabbed onto the phenomena, the joy, whatever, and missed the true cause. That doesn't mean the true cause is gone. It's not gone anywhere. You haven't lost it. It's still there. It's just not being recognized. And so we need to get out of our way, the things that are in our way, and it's nothing outside of you. Okay? You are completely free. Nothing can stop you from this recognition. That's the good news. It's the best news of the day. So, paying attention to what's actually going on. Go ahead.
But it's not a state that we're trying to point to.
No,
Because
but that's.
Sorry, I just heard you saying about, feeling peaceful or blissful or joyful. Because, there are lots of spiritual experiences that people hanker for. That could have been interpreted from what you've just said, I think. Then they try and hanker for that. And that would be leading, going down the wrong path.
Yep, missing the boat totally. That's what I'm saying. So people go after that and they think that's it. And because that's gone, for a moment or something, there's mind comes in and makes a judgment. Oh, it's gone now. Okay. Power of authority, power of interest. Okay. And go ahead.
Sorry, so therefore I heard you say, oh, that's gone. And then you say, but it's not gone. But I would say, well, that state has gone.
That's right. No, I say what's not gone is the truth. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So the truth is not gone. You're no longer recognizing it. When truth is recognized, then there's no problem. Your natural state is one of love, joy, peace, bliss. So when people have, when people have these experiences, as you say, which are a dime a dozen, it seems, and increasing maybe, or they're just talking about it more when they never used to, then they think, they pine for it, as you say. They pine for it. They want that. And they think that that was it, and they seek that experience, and that's not it. And that's why it looks like they've lost it. I say you've lost nothing. What you've gained is a thought, a belief, an error, a mistake. Okay, so someone asks here, Richard makes a point that resonates. Orientation may be needed for us long-timers who are already familiar with their work. Also, I agree that the group is a wonderful collaborative opportunity. Yeah. I'm going to think about how to build this thing. And I think it's going to be built on a membership site. And there may be 2 tiers where someone who's coming in hasn't done anything, and they get only access to the basics that they need. And then someone who's done something else maybe will get all that, so it's still there. If you ever need to refer back to it, you've got that. But now you also have something else. Okay, so that you can move ahead.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you well. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Susie.
I want to say a few things because I am the one private person, or one of the
no longer private, now very public.
No longer private. And so I've been working with you since somewhere toward the end of March. I think.
Mm.
And I think what probably is the most difficult thing to understand if you haven't worked with you or just seen some of the work, like the interviews, etc., and that I have found now in working with you, is you have such a unique, direct approach that it is not something, quite honestly, I wouldn't know how to explain it.
Mm.
But what I do know is it's powerful, and that it cuts through, and you cut through, even just whether you're one-on-one, which we do,
Mhm.
but it's,
And in a group?
and in the group, it's like, it to me, I get either way. The sharing that you have done with me for being able to see some of the group work
Mhm.
has been just as important, and probably added to just the one-on-one, because it really helps to hear other people's way of, it's oftentimes a question I didn't know to ask until I heard somebody else.
That's interesting. A question I didn't know to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what was in there to ask,
Yeah.
except that I heard it in the group, and I went, whoa.
And then you got the answer, and it's like, yeah, a question you didn't know to ask. I'd like to just comment on that, because, where do we know, how do we know what questions to ask? We go to our hard drive, right? We go to what's already stored there, what's already been churning over and over and over. It's just dead, right? And that's why when you do listen to someone in a group, something gets asked in a way, you go, that's a great question. Wished I thought of it, whatever, but now you get it asked for you. You couldn't have come up with it for yourself, and you get an answer that just strikes home. So yeah, that's the value of being in a group. And yeah, so Susie's not been in a group, and then she saw some of the group work. She's like, I want to be in a group. I want to be in the group because of that. So this is why I'm doing this back and forthness between private doesn't work anyway in the big world picture, because we can't. People are going to be waiting forever and ever and ever, and public didn't seem to be working, or group didn't seem to be working as well, but that's been proven wrong. So I'm wondering how wrong, how far can I go with a group? And I'd love to push the limits with this next group to see how far, just throw something out there. If it doesn't work in the group, it doesn't work. Okay. Did you have more comments on group versus private?
Well, yeah, I think, I don't think it matters how someone starts your program, quite honestly, because of what you do.
Say again, you don't think?
I don't think it matters how someone enters the program in a way.
In a group or private?
Right, group, private, or what you're calling introductory.
Yeah.
I think it does depend, obviously, on the work that people have done, perhaps,
Sure.
before.
But has anybody here ever heard of the 5 powers before? I mean, maybe power of attention, but who else? So I don't think it's out there so much. And so, yeah, and because it's sort of fundamental to this work, everybody needs to have the experience of it. So that part, I think, because otherwise, one-on-one, I have to say the same thing over and over. And I don't mind doing it, except that I could be doing it for hundreds or thousands of people at the same time and helping more quickly. Otherwise, I guess what you're saying is the value is there whether we're in a group, and the impact is there whether we're in a group with one-on-one interaction or whether we're in private. Is that right?
Well, yeah, here's the bottom line. I think start wherever, because this thing's going to evolve. It is. You have a very, I'm calling it unique approach that for any of us, for sure, as myself, I've been on the path forever, but nothing has been so impactful in such a practical way. It's not just, I don't have it in my imagination anymore. I have it direct.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten that. And believe me, I've been at the Mujis, the Adishantes, you name them. I've been with a lot of those people. And yes, I got value. I've gotten value for anything I've ever done since day one. However, and maybe it's just where people are today, but what you're doing That's why I say it doesn't matter where you start, because it will evolve. And the bottom line is, I'm so glad I didn't miss out on hearing you, and you know, I want to hang in. I won't be ready to leave in 3 months. Be done with it. I don't care if I'm self-realized or whatever. I want to have that support, and that's you and I've talked about that. So, and I think anybody working with you will probably walk away feeling the same way. They want to continue, and so this is what obviously you're kind of ground floor on that.
Okay,
Whole
thank
idea
you.
right now. Yeah.
Thank you. I just, you know, I looked at my calendar and I looked at the reality of the limitation of 24 hours in a day, and you have to eat and sleep within that. And I looked at all the people lined up on the list, and I went, oh my God, I'll never get to them. So something had to happen. So yeah, I think you're right. This is just going to evolve, and this is the beginning of it. And I'm very grateful for everybody who came here and gave your vote. This has been extremely valuable in terms of developing something. I feel even more so now that there will be a lot of value, a lot of impact possible. And I think doing the one-on-ones that way for people who are willing to share would be good. I have also noticed, though, that some people come into the program, the short program that we were doing, and mind sidetracks them. Mind, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done this, maybe whatever. And if I do a one-on-one with them, I can help them get past that. Okay. Like anything you get stuck on, I can help you get past on a one-on-one. But if you don't bring it to the group and do this one-on-one, I can't help you. And those people generally don't bring it forth. They stay back, and then they say they just not for me or whatever, and they miss out. So I guess I can't help everybody all the time. But maybe I'll be making that very obvious to you. If you're feeling any thought, idea that wants you to be sidetracked from doing this work, whether you do it with me or you just do it on your own, then you might want to come forward and bring that forward and share it. I know we had a good percentage of people who said they like to just hang back and listen. And that's okay. You may do that for a while. I highly suggest you to bring something forward, whatever it is that you're using to hold yourself back. If you want to get the most out of this, in whichever program or format we're using, that is critical. That is crucial. Are you trying to say something, Sage? I don't hear you. You're not muted, but your mic is not working, I guess. Still not hearing you.
Testing.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Testing.
Got
Can
you
you hear
now.
me now?
Yeah, we got you. Hey there.
Okay. I'm wondering if there's some way that you can, I'm one of the people that put down, for instance, that do whatever it takes, you know, just go
Right on.
whatever that takes. And so I wonder if there's a way you could provide a monthly financial you know, involvement that would be able to help a person do all that rather than to jump from program to program to program. You know, for those of us who can't quite come up with that kind of cash.
Okay,
So
all right.
Question.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And actually that leads us into the next, the last two polls that I have. Thanks for that. And the next one is, so financial, what's your situation? The options are I'm sick and on a limited income. I'm on a limited income. I have enough abundance to cover my wants and needs. I have enough abundance for anything. Okay, I'm going to launch this poll. And again, it's anonymous. So just to get an idea of what we're dealing with here. Yeah, okay. We're almost there. We've had 2 people leave the call. So we're now going to be 18. We got 14. 4 more to go. Welcome back, whoever left, or welcome brand new. I don't know whoever just came back if you've got a view for the poll or not. Hopefully you can answer this this question. We're just polling about finances. And we're at 15 of 19. I'd like to get a few more in there because we're 2 of them are neck and neck here. So I need some tiebreakers. Maybe the people who left and came back don't have access to the poll. Okay, going to give you 4 more seconds. All right, if you can't decide, we go with what we have here. So we have a mix between I'm on a limited income and I have enough abundance to cover my wants and needs. That's primarily, and then I have enough abundance for everything. Okay. Just while we're at it, let's take the last poll, which was related to earnestness. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is freeing yourself from the egoic mind and realizing the truth of who you really are right now? It doesn't mean, how important is it right now? Yeah. 1, it would be nice. 2, my life, relationship, finances, career, health is more important. That's your main focus. Some people are smiling already. It's becoming urgent. Nothing is more important. Or I'm burning on fire.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew this was an earnest group. We're at 15 again, and that's how many we had last time. So I'll give you 4 more seconds. And we have some bonfires here. But primarily we have nothing is more important. And that is wonderful to see. And that becoming urgent is also good. I know that feeling. It's like a agitation or a burning fire or a draw, and they're all important. If you're earnest, if it's starting to become really important, or nothing is more important, or you're on fire, it doesn't matter how much money you have or don't have. Okay, you just need to hear a few things and you can be done. That's the honest truth of it. If you hear them, okay, really hear them. So nothing is in your way. That's the good news, not even money. And you can hear those things in a group with me, or you can hear them one-on-one. And it's basically what you believe you need is what you will have to do. If you believe you need a year, and nobody picked a year, that was interesting. If you believe you need a year, you'll take a year at least. If you believe you don't have enough money, I would urge you to throw that one out right now. Because money is irrelevant, okay? You can hear the things that I've put out free and really hear them and be done. And if you need help because you haven't developed your power of awareness, not awareness, awareness you cannot develop, okay? You develop your power of attention, holding it open. Discerning, your power of discernment between what is real and what's not. You may need help doing that and practice doing that. And this is all about practice. It's about doing the work. It's not about coming and sitting by some guru and being touched or having the look that does it for you. Okay? Because then you'll always say, well, I didn't get the look. I didn't get the touch. I have to get the look. I have to get the touch. You're the boss. Okay? Tomorrow never comes. Anybody ever see the sign in a bar that says free beer tomorrow? They hooked me. Every time I went into that bar. Free beer, not today. Okay. This is what the mind will do. It's not the mind on its own. That's the good news. Mind by its own can do nothing to you or for you. You are before mind. You are beyond mind. But do you know it? Do you know who you are? Really? Okay. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for helping me do something here. We will do something here. And if you have any more ideas, comments, I've gotten some other ideas in email that we're going to be looking at next week. But we are going to put something together next week. And given the different financial situations, we'll try and accommodate that. I like, Sage, what you said. Maybe there can be payment plans or something for the real earnest. And while money can't help you and it can't hinder you, you also can't be attached. You know, there's a lot of spiritual people out there who have the idea spirituality should be free. This is a very lazy idea. And it is free, of course. Nothing can inhibit you. But when you're given effort, value, there should be an exchange. And I'm no good for you on the streets. Right? I need an internet connection. I need a headset. I need a computer. So we're going to try and find something that is reasonable yet powerful. Because I'm dedicated to seeing you recognize the truth. It's the only thing I have left in interest in life. I mean, life's great and it's lovely and I enjoy it every minute of the day, but I have no other purpose. So I'm here for you. So any questions right now, we can open it up and say thank you or entertain any other questions until we kind of try and throw something together and put it out there in an email and maybe get some more feedback. We'll see. And you can open up about anything. It can be just a burning question, or it can be about the program, or it doesn't matter.
Hi, Cindy.
Hey. Go ahead, Emily. Your picture's up here. We'll get to the next one next.
So I asked earlier when you were talking about putting your attention, that we always put our attention on something.
Yeah.
And you were saying that it's not a question of what you put your attention on. So I guess my question is, like, what is attention itself, and how do you keep it open?
Yeah, great question. And this is the kind of fundamentals I'm talking about that we need to have. If you don't know what attention is, it's a fabulous question, so to the point. If you don't know what it is, how can you know to keep it open, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a thing that I prefer to impart experientially, that I sort of draw you through having the experience of it. So you get a very fundamental, very tactile, very direct experience of attention, so that it's not just a concept, right? We make it very real here. And so this is not something I'll do right now, but it is out there on the web. It is out there on my site. It's out there on YouTube. Look for the 2-minute technique to inner peace. Okay.
Wait, I actually have something to add on to that. So I think I get what like awareness is, and like how I do feel that there's a level of awareness all the time, despite of what I'm thinking or doing, or if I'm acting out or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess it's more of like remaining without being so involved in everything, I guess.
Yeah, and the movie in the mind. Yeah, yeah. And why do you
Yeah.
get involved? There's all these reasons, and that all has to do with your 5 powers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so look up the 2-minute technique to inner peace. Okay. You will get a demonstration of the 5 powers there. Okay, including attention.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Somebody else had a question? It was a female voice.
This is Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if the course is going to be more about how to let go of the human condition, or how to stay with the awareness and attention, and how to develop those.
Sounds to me like they're both sides of the same coin.
Okay.
Okay, so the human condition is a concept that we use to point to the insanity that a lot of us aren't even aware of what's actually going on, but we know it's insane, right? So yeah, there's awareness right there. But the learning how to not engage the movie in the mind, because that's what's really going on.
Yes.
Left alone, the movie in the mind settles down. There are no problems. You just respond naturally to whatever is, with wisdom and taking in the totality, the ecology, everything and everybody involved. And the best thing that could be done is done. When you're absorbed in the movie in the mind, you respond to the outside as if it's the movie in the mind. And that's where we get a disjoint, and that's where all the problems are. Because the movie in the mind is not actually what is. So it doesn't have anything to do with what is. Hey, Kai posted the 2-minute technique for inner peace. There's a link there. Great for everybody to access. Thanks, Kai.
Thank you.
Yeah. So so the answer to that would be both.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
I just wanted to say something. Initially I thought that the one-on-one would be much more conducive to where I'm at. But I'm finding that through the edging out the ego, that I learn so much just by listening to others, to you speak, to others' questions. And it's just about being aware in every moment of where my attention and interest is. So anyhow, I want to say that, I was a little more partial to the private, but I think this is private. Speaking with you, if at any time I could chime in and ask a question.
Yes.
That's all I think I require. I think if I was, still really was thinking like I needed complete privacy.
Yeah.
That's just it's like my ego mind or whatever, going.
Could
so
be
wanting that personal attention.
Yeah, could be. That said, there are some I'm going to say techniques that I do privately that just I will not do publicly. Okay, because what happens is the person I'm working with can't fully benefit because they're thinking about who's watching or listening or yada yada, and the people listening I can't respond to directly in the moment. And this is live. This is real life. This is immediate. This is an opportunity can open up for me to, as I think Susie said, cut through to something that, in this interaction with you that I can't do with them, and the opportunity is lost for them. So I'm going to let that sit for a while and see if ever there will be a time that I would bring private one-on-one back in for any particular reason. I'm hoping that we can maybe experiment and do some of that in the breakouts that I was talking about. But I'm not positive. We have an idea for something forming here, but as far as finessing it, I think it's going to, as somebody said, keep sort of changing a bit. Okay, it would just be evolving with the people. And that's what it's always been. I have learned the pointers through working with the people, you know, through talking with them, through hearing how they're seeing things, and you know, wondering how could they be seeing it that way, and how can I show them it this way, right, to turn it around. So everything has always evolved through this. So I highly value and appreciate the one-on-one, but now I want to take what we've learned and put it out there for more, because I just don't want anybody waiting around. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Ronnie. Anybody else? Question, comment? Okay, I've unmuted everybody. If anybody has anything left, now's your chance. Otherwise, we can all just say thank you so much. And oh, who said that? Who said that?
I did.
You're not showing up yet. Oh yeah, Lori, there you are. Right on. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you're signing up for yet. So give me a few days. A few days to work on that. I know you're signing up for transformation like you've never had.
Yeah.
I know that. And that's truly what matters. But in terms of what'll all be involved and how it works, I'm going to take all the information we got today and put something out there and see what you all think.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
All.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.